Prepare yourself.
Fight!
Hi guys! So today I'm going to be reviewing Little Vampire Woman, which is a retelling of Little Woman by Louise May Alcott. Little Vampire Woman, the vampire version, is by Lynn Messina, but it's pretty much the same story as Little Woman, except now they're vampires. Wow. I read Little Woman way back when I was a child. It was probably the first classic novel I've read. Got it from the warehouse, where everyone gets a bargain. And it was a kind of a condensed form, so it wasn't the full story because it was aimed for like 15-year-olds, but it's still the whole story, you know. He'll have all the important bits and most of the details and stuff like that. Later on I ended up studying the film in English at college, at high school, which, I mean, I didn't love it as much then, but it was still kind of enjoyable learning about it in that sense. I did like this book, and it follows the story of the March sisters. There are 4 of them, and then there's the mother, and then the father is actually away at war. So there's that. They kind of live in, like, I guess, kind of poverty or just in the poorer parts of town. So it's kind of about their life. It's mostly the lives of these sisters and their family and who they end up marrying, and I guess what they end up pursuing. One of the sisters, Jo, she really wants to be a writer. You know, that's something that she pursues, and so you kind of get to follow her doing that as well. There's the arrival of Theodore, Teddy, next door neighbour, who kind of like befriends the sisters, and it's part of this like childhood friendship going on. So you see them from quite young, getting older and more mature until they are married. So this is the same story, exactly the same in pretty much every way, except they are vampires, and some of the story has to adapt to fit in with the fact that they are vampires. I just did not like it. I did not like it at all. Wow. The vampire, like, things added was mostly okay. It's kind of like average. It's what you would expect. It's typical, oh, they're drinking blood. Yep, that's fine. That's what you would expect. But in some parts, the vampire parts of it just make it seem cheap. Or maybe not cheap, but just so blatantly stupid, and it's just ridiculous. It sounds sort of ridiculous in comparison to the original. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, so okay, there is a part, the spoiler alert, because this will spoil it for you if you haven't already read the book. So when Teddy, or Theodore, tries to propose to Jo, one of the sisters, she turns him down because in her mind they're just friends. And then he asks Beth, who's the younger sister, one of the younger sisters, and she says yes, so they end up marrying. That's what happened in the original book. And in this book, similar thing happens, except part of the marriage is turning Teddy into a vampire, because Teddy really wants to be a vampire. And I don't know, it just seems so stupid. It's just very Twilight-esque, and I couldn't deal with it, because it's just pretty much, it just made it sound like all Teddy wanted was to be a vampire. He didn't really care about the woman, didn't really care about what kind of life he was living. He really wanted to be a vampire, and it's just, I just really didn't understand that, because he was just so set on becoming a vampire that he went from sister to sister, and that's probably the strangest part for me, actually, and part of this like whole story. The fact that when he got turned down by the sister that he would prefer to marry, he just went to a younger sister who, I guess, was more naive and more willing. Yeah, so I didn't like this book. I just don't think the vampire aspect of it added anything to the story or made it even better. I don't think you needed it to appeal to a new audience. I think when this came out, it was because everyone was so into Twilight and Vampire Academy, like, it was just the rage. Which is why there's Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, you know, that thing. I think that's why that's what happens in these books, that they would put through a supernatural twist. And I don't think this book needed it to appeal to their audience. It's a bit of a gag to try and get them to read it, but at the same time, it's just looking back on it, or when you read it now after that phase is over, it's really got no appeal. Even when I read this book when it came out, so during the Twilight era, and I still thought it was stupid. So it's just, I think that just speaks volumes. I just would not pick this up. Like, not worth it. Little Vampire Woman, not worth picking up. If you're gonna read it, read the original. It's so much better. It's just, there's so much more to it. And I just feel like the vampire kind of gag to it just cheapens the whole story and just dilutes it a bit. And it takes away from the story, and it doesn't deserve that. It deserves much better than that. So if you're gonna read Little Woman, read Little Woman. Don't read Little Vampire Woman, because it's just so not worth it. Little Vampire Woman would go in the, oh my gosh, do not pick up pile. Little Woman, the original book, would go in the good pile. It's a good book. It's not one of my favourites, but it's a really good book.
And the winner is...
That's just what I would recommend. You know, you guys might have different ideas and that sort of thing, but I was not feeling the vampire parts in this book. I prefer the original so much better, and I think you guys will enjoy the original much better as well. So, yeah, that's my opinion. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time.